Hello and Merry Christmas! I'm currently in London where we picked out on way too much food. I'm so full. But yes, we did the whole traditional turkey and ham and Christmas pudding and mince pies, and I am, still really full. But anyway, earlier this week I was in Krakow, Poland, or how they pronounce it there, Krakow. After sitting on a bus for 8 hours with only one 5-minute break, I can tell you pulling into that bus terminal felt so good. So Krakow was once the capital of Poland, and now the Old Town area is heritage listed. Its population is comprised of 25% students, and it has one really old university there. In Poland, tertiary education is free, which is a good thing, I guess, because anyone who wants to get that education can. But one of my tour guides also mentioned that there is a bit of over-education there. He had a degree in archaeology, and he mentioned that most of his fellow classmates don't actually work in the field because there is just too many people and not enough jobs. But Poland is 95% Catholic, and they do Christmas slightly different to how we do it. Their Christmas meal consists of 12 or 13 dishes, including a beet soup and carp. And then everyone heads to Mass on Christmas Day. They also only decorate their tree on Christmas Eve, and then it stays up for longer than we would usually leave it up. But Poland has quite an interesting history. It once had really good relations with the Jews because there was religious freedom in Poland, and it had the largest Jewish community in the world for a few centuries. It also meant that synagogues could have high ceilings. It's something you'll notice in most European cities, that the church is sort of the center point and was really, really tall, but that wasn't quite the case in Poland. Not that they don't have tall churches. Poland also has a history of kings and castles, and the one in Krakow, Wawel Castle, has many different architectural types because each king that sort of came along wanted to leave their mark on that castle. Poland was once actually quite a wealthy country because it produced a commodity that was very precious at the time, which was salt. And I did visit one of these salt mines, and it was pretty damn cool. So you have to remember that before refrigeration, salt was used to preserve food, and so it was very, very precious. In fact, it was worth half the price of gold. In fact, did you know that the word celery has its roots in the word salt? And Poland is pretty fortunate because it has these quite large deposits of salt that were formed by changing sea levels from millions of years ago. Some of these deposits are over 30 meters in depth. Others were large enough to carve a cathedral out of. Yes, the walls, floors, and ceilings of this cathedral are all carved out of salt, and it is incredible. The floor, which is polished by millions of people walking through, kind of looks like marble now. The acoustics are amazing, and the air is so nice. So yeah, if you're looking for an interesting wedding venue, I can recommend the salt mine near Krakow. It wasn't all happy days for the salt miners though. For example, if there was a fire, it was actually really hard to put out. You can't just spray it with water because in a salt mine, water will do more damage to the mine itself than the fire will. Because remember that water dissolves salt, and so it can actually just rip apart the whole mine. So usually what they do is just section off the fire and just let it burn out. And Poland's history definitely isn't all happy either. I mean, they didn't even exist as a nation between 1795 and 1918 because they were taken over by other neighboring countries. And of course, Auschwitz, which was one of the Nazi concentration camps. I've made a separate video on that because there's just too much to fit into this video, but I definitely recommend watching it if you've never been before. Poland is also the first place in a really long time that I've been eating really well because the food is really cheap. I think I had pierogi like 4 or 5 times, which is the Polish version of dumplings. They are delicious. Anyway, I hope you had a fantastic Christmas with lots of food like I did, and I'll see you next week.